In this green theme challenge, we are going to create an avocado. I have a white gel polish. You can also use a beige nude or a light pink. Make sure that it is opaque. You want your background to have good coverage. You don't want it to be sheer. And we're just going to put a couple coats. Now make sure on your tip, any sort of tip you're using, whether you're using a nail art stick or you're using a nail tip on a stand, make sure you buff using a grit buffer, a 240 or a 180 grit buffer, and rough that edge up. Because if you don't, it's going to be really hard for the product to stick. I'm going to paint a nice layer of white. And it has to cover, full coverage. We don't want to have it sheer or see-through. I'm going to stick it in the light for 1 minute. So what I'm going to do is first, I'm going to say, well, I'm going to use this dark green for the leaves. Another way to make dark green is to add a little bit of red, but you're not going to use a whole lot. And we only need a little bit because a little bit goes a long way. This will actually create 2 leaves. So I'm going to set this on my wax paper. And immediately, I'm going to grab the lid and I'm going to cover this up. Because remember, UV gel does get hard and dries out in natural light or any type of light. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create the actual inside of this avocado. So I'm going to take this light grassy green. Then I'm going to grab this yellow. Okay. So there's my mix. So this right here will be for the leaves. This right here I'm going to make for the inside. I'm going to create the seed. What makes brown is green and red. Red and green make brown, okay? And I'm just going to get a little bit of each because I want to mix it and I might need to add more green or more red to get the exact type of brown that I want. Now the next thing I'm going to create on my wax paper that I have, I'm going to use this dark green. You're just going to take a little bit out of here, set that aside. Okay, and then I'm going to take some black. And I'm going to set that aside here. Okay. All right, so now I got all my colors that I'm going to need, and I pretty much have the amounts too, because you're not going to need a lot. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cover and go ahead and close up all my UV gels. If I need more, I can go back to it at a later time. But go ahead and put the caps back on them because you don't want them to get hard and damaged. So if you only have one type of green, don't worry. You can always mix it with these other colors. So maybe blue or light blue or grays might help too. But for this exercise, this is all I'm going to need. Of course, you have a little flexibility as long as you can make your avocado look as realistic as possible. So I'm going to go ahead and start mixing. Now you might need 2 mixing sticks. I'm going to start mixing the body. Now remember, the body from this photo, this reference material that I'm using is kind of almost a yellowy green, correct? So I'm going to go ahead and mix this up. It's still too green, so I'm going to add some more yellow to it. Put the top back on and mix. That's getting really more of my avocado color that I'm looking for. I'm going to just mix this into a brown. Of course, I might need more green. I might need more red. I might need to mix a green with a black to get a darker green and then mix with red, but this is just getting a nice brown color. And I kind of want the brown color to be a little lighter. So we'll see what we can turn out here. I might need more green for that. See how that works out really well? So you can actually mix your own colors. It's kind of cool. Now, the other thing I'm going to mix is a dark green and a black because we want to create that avocado skin, but we're creating it to look like it's very ripe, like it's ready to eat. So we got all our palettes ready, okay? Now remember, you're going to need a dampening dish. Fill it up with a little bit of alcohol. Okay, I'm going to set this aside. So first we're going to make the body, okay? This is the body of the avocado. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this blob and I'm going to put it, this is another reason I want you to wear gloves. Go ahead and just put that little there. Take your finger and roll, almost like you're rolling dough or flour, right? Okay, into a ball. You see that? But to make your life easy, kind of get the shape that you want. So you're not having to sit there and shape it too much onto the nail. I'm going to try and pick it up with my hand this way. I'm going to grab here and I'm going to put it in just like that. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to shape it into place. So I've got my dampening dish here. Take my little tiny brush. I kind of like this shape because it's going to give me the angle I want for both the leaves and the body of the avocado. Make sure to get some of the excess alcohol off. You don't want your brush too wet, and just shape how you want your avocado to be, okay? You want to take the alcohol that we dip our brush in and just kind of push and sculpt this into place, okay? And I'm going to make my wide body down here, and I'm going to narrow it out up here. At the same time, kind of, you know, pushing it into the nail. With the 3D molding gels, they're not going to cure until you're ready. So it's kind of like a polygel product, except for it's much harder. So it's actually kind of nice. I'm going to make sure this surface is smooth. Okay, like that. This is where we need to put the avocado seed. Or you can use a little tool, something, you know, just use your own creativity that has a little round bump. And I'm going to put where the seed normally goes, okay? So I'm going to push down here, just very gently push, push, take my time, not rush, and make a place where that seed is going to be, okay? Now I'm going to put it in the light. We're going to freeze, cure it in a UV LED light for about 10 to 15 seconds. The next thing is I'm going to bring out my wax paper that has my different mixed colors. I'm going to scoop up the brown. Okay, remember we mixed a light green with a red to get a nice color brown. I'm going to put this here and I'm going to roll it. It's going to be a little tricky, just kind of navigate to pick it up. I'm going to grab my avocado and I'm going to put the little seed right inside here. There you go. Look at that. Okay, good deal. So now I'm going to go back, grab my dampening dish of isopropyl alcohol. I'm going to wet my little art brush here, not too much alcohol, and I'm just going to press. I'm going to get down in these grooves and press in so we can get this to stay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in the light and I'm going to freeze cure for 10 seconds in the UV LED light. The next thing we're going to create is our avocado skin. So I'm going to go back to our palette here. And I'm going to scoop up this really dark to black. What I'm going to do, I'm going to put it on here. I'm going to roll it like a rolling pin. And now I'm going to have this, I'm going to roll it out. And I'm going to take my avocado here. I'll pick my little, this up. And just gently outline the avocado. Now I'm going to make it a thinner skin, so I'm pushing it up against the avocado. Pushing it up because I don't want it to be so wide. Creating a nice tight wall. Always have something to wipe your brush on. Go ahead and dip your brush. Wipe any of the excess off. To get that nice white canvas, okay? All right, so now I have my dark avocado skin showing that it's ripe and ready to eat. And I'm going to put this in the UV light for 1 minute. All right, so now I've got my final avocado design, okay? But we have one final touch. We want to add some leaves to it. Now it's time to make the leaves, and this is my leaf color. So I'm going to take my orange wood stick and I'm going to separate these two because we're making 2 leaves. So this will be one leaf and that'll be the other, okay? I'm going to put this aside. Again, I'm going to roll this on my hand and I'm going to press. Now remember, leaves are kind of like, have different shapes, but for the most part they have kind of a teardrop shape, right? There's one leaf. Press. I don't want it to be a sphere, right? I want it to be more flat. And curly is fine because it looks more like a leaf. I'm going to sculpt them into a nice shape. Okay, and I'm going to go over here and fix this one. Okay, now the next thing I'm going to do, once I'm satisfied with the overall leaf shape, I'm going to grab some tweezers and I'm going to create the leaf, the indentions in the actual leaf. Some sculpting molding gels are a little tougher. You can gauge the pressure. And I'm going to create the leaf. I'm going to go into the other side and I'm going to press, hold it at an angle so it looks like an actual leaf. It might stretch the gel out a little bit, but it'll give it some character. So as you can see, it looks way more like a leaf. I can even press a little bit harder right here. This is my avocado. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to cure this for 1 minute. All right, so I finished my avocado. It is fully cured. This is a 3D sculpting molding gel that we're doing for our green theme. The last finishing touch I'm going to add is a UV LED top coat. And then we're just going to wipe around, and then we're going to get just around. We're not going to flood, because if you flood the 3D element, it just doesn't look very good. You needed very little of this top coat because, you know, it's pretty glossy at this point. And I'm going to put it in for 1 minute.